Gujarat is known globally as the textile state of India. A combination of factors, from skilled labor to the availability of high-quality raw materials, makes this one of the largest textile hubs in the world. Reports suggest there are close to 1,500 medium and large units functional at present. A world painted with vibrant colors, Gujarat also happens to produce some of the finest shades of fabric. But what is often concealed behind all the colors and textures are some lethal repercussions on the environment. Textile production contributes to approximately 20% of global water pollution, particularly through the dyeing and finishing processes. One of the main reasons for this is the fact that synthetic dyes tend to not bind tightly enough to fabrics and then get discharged as effluent. This continuous discharge of wastewater without prior treatment has significant negative consequences on the environment. Not to mention the sheer amount of water this industry consumes. 1 kilogram of cotton fabric, for example, needs close to 110 liters of groundwater for dyeing. Dr. Reena Bhatia from the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda has been working on clothing and textiles for the last 28 years.
Okay, we need to understand that conventional dyeing and printing is water intensive. Textile that undergoes these processes is valued for its appearance. So water is the main ingredient. Say whatever waste goes out of water is 80% of it is because of the water waste.
We are in Gujarat's Vadodara city, one of the main textile hubs of the country. In this industrial area, today we visit a homegrown textile brand that's been looking towards sustainable solutions since the early 80s.
So the way we work is that we have the Gujarat Pollution Control Board's consent to, of course, run this factory. You need their consent. But we are also certified at what they call a zero discharge unit. A zero discharge unit means that we do not discharge any of our wastewater, that all our wastewater is recycled within our own workshop. And the result that we get out of these practices is water that is good enough to recycle in my own unit, but it's actually also good enough to discharge in the open ground or use for irrigation.
Established in 1983 by Mowla and Pradeep Sinha, Bodhi is an enterprise of embroiderers, dyers and artisans. Attempting to tackle the challenges of water wastage and textile pollution, the studio has put in place a series of natural treatment facilities, the start of which, they tell us, is rainwater harvesting.
So what I do is, I do two things. I collect the rainwater which is falling on the roof of my premises, collect it in an underground tank and then pump it up and store it in large HDPE tanks which we use for soft water needs.
Soft water is the lifeline of textile wet processing. The challenge in using hard water is that the high levels of minerals it carries tend to interact with dyes, making it appear dull, uneven and fade easily. Bodhi's soft water needs are met through rainwater harvesting, resulting in colors that are more consistent. Treating all its wastewater naturally is perhaps Bodhi's most significant accomplishment. What Pradeep is demonstrating to us now is Bodhi's first primary treatment of textile wastewater, the process of flocculation using lime and alum.
You can already see, if you come up close, that flocks are starting to form and very soon they will settle down to the bottom.
What essentially is happening here is the enabling of flock formation or big clusters of particles. The solution of alum and lime helps in ensuring more and more particles clump together. The bigger the cluster, the easier it is to remove them.
So in the settling time, as the water is pumped up and falls inside, it mixes naturally, and left overnight, all the flocks settle down to the bottom and become what is known as sludge. Here you can see the sludge settled at the bottom. the water on top is more or less clear. If it is left for more time, it will become crystal clear on top.
The whole business of pollution is so related to the consumption, how much you are producing. Also because when you are not very clear on the recipe, on the amount of color required to get the rust of your shirt, human tendency is कि और थोड़ा डाल दो ना क्या फर्क पड़ता है. And that, putting 2 more spoonfuls or putting 5 more maggas of some acid is something that we would not think twice about. But when you have recipe where you are using just that amount of quantity of all the auxiliaries, chemicals, dyes, then you are not wasting.
Bodhi uses both natural and synthetic dyes. But the differentiator is its commitment to organically treating all its wastewater. These canna plantations are not ornamental. They are, in fact, carrying out a vital filtration process.
It's nature at work. Essentially, we are using the soil as a bioremediation filter. This soil, of course, has been charged with various kinds of organisms, fungi, etc., to allow it to treat the water, the kind of water that we generate.
A healthy canna plant indicates a successful filtration system, Pradeep explains.
The canna plant per se is not doing anything. The roots of the canna plant are the ones that host the bacteria. As the water passes through this organic layer, it hits a sand bed and then a pebble bed and gets filtered. So any suspended particles that are left in the water are trapped in the filters. After these 3 stages of remediation and filtration, remediation, filtration, remediation, filtration, the water collects in the last tank at the end of this system, from where it is pumped up and recycled again.
Globally, the textile industry has been facing significant pressure to reduce its primary hidden cost, that of water pollution. Amongst the many innovations, one of the major shifts has been around the way fabrics are being printed. Specialty chemicals company Zydex is one of the few textile majors to have replaced conventional reactive printing with what is being considered worldwide as a more sustainable alternative: pigment printing. Here, unlike dyes being transferred directly onto fabrics, pigment pastes are printed onto fabrics and then cured. The advantages are reportedly significant: minimum water consumption, no post-processing, and no effluent stream. Moreover, through its latest innovation, Apricon, the company claims to have overcome the challenges usually associated with pigment printing. The claim that the feel and fastness of the end product is not at par with conventional printing.
With this, that means fine lines. This is a pigment-based printing solution, but for the first time, we are matching the performance of reactive printing. Now, this could be related with respect to the feel of the fabric at the end of the production cycle. It could be with respect to the washing resistance, and it could be also with respect to the rubbing resistance. So all these 3 aspects, and also the look, that means the leveled surface, the solidity of the print, all have been addressed with this technology, and we believe that, and you do not go through washing cycle, you do not go through chemical reaction, you basically physically encapsulate that and fix it on the fiber.
Apricon reportedly helps Zydex save 75% of the water typically used in reactive printing. Moreover, their energy consumption has reduced by 55% and fabric wastage by 3%. At Bodhi, the recycling of an average of 1,000 liters of water every day has helped them keep to their commitment of using 30% less water than industry standards.
So like the biological solutions that both Zydex and Bodhi has come up with, does help in mitigating the problem of water pollution. Though small, it may appear very small, but it is a practical solution, which of course with the commitment and proper monitoring and assessment, it can be made into a model which can be replicated.
Back at Bodhi, Mala tells us how the concept of sustainability extends itself to their workforce as well. Some of their employees have been around for 3 decades.
हाँ, सभी साथ में काम मिलते हैं, सब मिलके एक साथ ही काम करते हैं। ऐसा कोई नहीं कि मैं मेरा कर लूँ, ऐसा कोई भी नहीं। मैं बोधी में 25 साल से काम करता हूँ। वहाँ पे क्या जल्दी काम करो, जैसा भी माल हो दे के आओ, कोई चले ना चले। यहाँ पे एकदम काम क्लियर से है, इसलिए अच्छा लगा मुझे।
You cannot be sustainable unless you are frugal. Being sustainable has also helped me look at my own design sensibility also in a very different way. What actually also happens is that subtly and subconsciously, all the decisions I take on design are based on the long life that my fabric will have. I would never think in terms of, oh, this has not to last more than a season, so why spend so much time on it?
Thanks for watching Eco India. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.